This is the best of VOCM Open Line with Brian Callahan.
Let's just go right to Jeremy Charles. Jeremy, you're on the air.
Hey, how's it going?
So, how are you feeling this morning, Jeremy? As anything on the go last night? Did you catch the game by chance? I'm guessing you did.
Oh yeah, I caught the game. I'm just out here in Norris Point and just getting ready to open my King Lobster truck here in Norris Point, and obviously the game was on, so I was just glued to the game all last night. And what a big win for the Habs! Unbelievable.
Yeah, full disclosure. Full disclosure. You are can I safely call you a super fan? I know you've been a fan for years, but but safe to say this goes back a bit. Look, it's funny. There's so much serendipity going on here. My mother, you mentioned the lobster truck. First of all, I'm just going to mention, you do have this lobster truck out in Norris Point. My mother texted me this week, called me actually, and asked me out of the blue, do you know where I can get some lobster rolls? I'm not kidding. Never asked me that question before in my life. And she asked me this week, and here we are talking lobster. So, for strange things for strange reasons.
Absolutely. Yeah, hop in the car. It's a 7-hour drive, and I'm more than happy to make her a few rolls for sure.
Yeah, I'll do that for Mom in a heartbeat. Okay, so let's talk about it. I think, the general consensus was the obvious. The common sense thought might be Canes would be really tired, really rusty. Not tired, too rested, too rusty. They came out quick, like a house on fire, got their first one. But I'll tell you, it seems like that response, the immediate response from the Habs, that Roof Daddy 50-goal scorer's goal by Caulfield, that was, for me, it was the JSN turning point, that goal alone.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I mean, I think right now going into the third round, the Habs really found, obviously, confidence, but there's no panic in the game, and you can see that. And, they're just maturing as a team, and obviously Marty's an amazing coach, and it's been just unreal to watch, and it's just been a great start to the third round, and hopefully again game by game we can get to the Holy Grail.
Yeah, for the first time since '93 for any Canadian team to get a look in. The whole look, and it's across the team too, right? I mean, it's a spread out scoring. You're not relying on any one person, that's for sure. You got just the skill, the speed last night. I think was a little bit of a wake up call for the Canes, to say the least. And Dobish, what can you say right now? I think it's a bit too early to be talking Conn Smythe. Just still too early when you got the Western Conference still firing away, but. You got to be good to be lucky, and he was both last night.
Yeah, I mean, again, come back to confidence. He's just really found his confidence, and he's just really, I think, just mentally sure about himself. And it's, again, just been amazing to watch him progress throughout the playoffs, and he lets in one here and there and just gathers himself and comes back as a wall, basically a stop sign, as they got it going on in Montreal. So the whole team's really firing, and then all four lines, and obviously Newey's been unbelievable, and it's just been so exciting to watch him play, and obviously representing Newfoundland and Labrador, it's always great to have one of the boys in the playoffs for sure.
Yeah, and a guy like, can you talk about the confidence and the growth of the team, because they keep talking about the youngest team on, and that seems to be a throwaway to say, well, that's why they won't, advance far beyond anyone's expectations, but they continue to. It's like we're watching them grow up before our eyes, and especially a guy like Demidov. To watch him now, the burst of speed, the skill, he's becoming more confident. The one he scored last night, say what you want. There's a lot of tic-tac-toe. It was a skill game, It just from end to end, they dominated it, they controlled it, and I think that Carolina a little bit of a deer in the headlights, maybe.
Yeah, I really think obviously we played them 3 times this season. We got 3 wins, which is amazing. But I just think it's all about peaking at the right time, and we didn't walk into the playoffs, so to speak. We had to battle it out, and. Again, I think that's where you really gain that experience and that camaraderie, and just the culture of the team is like everybody's there, and everyone's on deck, and it's just, again, fantastic to watch. It's so exciting, and I just feel super fortunate to be watching the team, kind of evolve over the last several years. It's really amazing to see.
Have you been up for which game? Have you been up for games? I should just ask you flat out.
Yeah, I've been up to games throughout the season. Very fortunate for that, for sure. And I just got a heads up. I'm going to Game 4 in Montreal, so
Nice.
I got to make my way across the island this week and head up to that game. And yeah, it's nothing beats going to the Bell Center, and that energy and that stadium. It's there's nothing like it. I've been to many rinks around the NHL, fortunately, and I mean it's night and day when it comes to the Bell Center and other places. But and I think players love to play there. That's on Tuesday night the place is packed, going crazy. It's like you just don't get that. So it's again super exciting.
Yeah, I was up for a mid-season game. We were up. My son and I were up in what was it? February, I think. And, just a regular season game. And we were just fortunate that it went to overtime and they won in OT. And, it was off the charts then because, as you know, if you've been there, it's hard to explain. It's a different energy. It's not just loud. It's a different energy altogether. You can, the combination of the torch, if you will, although a couple of bad lucks there. I don't know if they're going to let Larry Robinson bring the torch in anymore. But I mean, look, a hero of mine back in the day, along with Dryden and everybody. But what do you think of the comparisons of Dryden to Dobish at this point?
Yeah, I mean they're both really, Ken was a really large, big guy in the net. Obviously super calm and focused, and what he done his rookie season was unbelievable. And obviously Dobish is on kind of the same path. So again, just confidence, focus, and I guess mindset. Obviously I was born in '77. I think Ken was doing his thing back then. But I had a pleasure to meet him a few years ago, and he coached our team in a fundraiser. And what a just true gentleman, and just really oozed Habs culture, and it was just an honor to meet him. So I just think pure class. Obviously, like a lot of people from the Montreal organization, and that just trickles down through the whole team, and I think that's what really creates great culture in a team is good people doing good things, and everyone's towing the same rope.
Yeah, Jeremy, I wanted to give you an opportunity too, while you're just to go back to the lobster truck for a minute. What are you at these days? And just give me an idea. If I come out, and are you just set up there? Where are you set up? And I mean, most people would know you from Raymond's, of course, here in St. John's, an executive chef, a great renowned chef, and I loved your appearances on Anthony Bourdain, God rest his soul. But what are you doing specifically these days, just to catch up?
Yeah, last year I decided just to pack my bags and head out of town and open a lobster truck called J.C. King Lobster here in Norris Point, right in front of the Tides Inn. And just working with local fishermen and local plant to supply beautiful, fresh Newfoundland lobster. And so it's lobster rolls and salads and drinks. And this year I just got a sea can, a shipping container, which is going to be more like a storefront where you can come in and get your drink and maybe a dessert and a cup of coffee or something like that. And you can sit outside in beautiful Norris Point and look at the tablelands. And it's just, it's been a great change. And this is a wonderful community out here. There's so many great hotels and restaurants. And, Grossmore National Park is a magical place. And even a lot of my buddies from St. John's have never been out this way, so it's I highly recommend people make the trek out here, and no one's ever disappointed. The hunting, the fishing, the beaches, the people, the culture, it's all out here, and it's been amazing just meeting people from all around the world, and they really want to get a true taste of place. And I think a lobster roll is a true taste of place, really. And it's not a hamburger, it's a lobster roll. So it's I get really excited about feeding people and just making simple good food, and just having a good time. I'll be out here with my son and some other two young guys I hired this summer, and looking forward to a busy summer, and again meeting lots of great people. So that's pretty much what I'm up to.
Wow, yeah, I'm sure Mom's getting a kick out of this. Again, the irony of just talking about lobster rolls the last 2 days and me trying to find one, and she was telling me a couple of places to go. I don't know if I have time for the 7 hours. Is there any? Can you curry or anything in, or
I don't know. My wife was at Blue yesterday. She said she had a lobster roll down there. I'll give Sully a shout, and we'll review the rolls.
Breaky and Sully. That's a great idea. Actually, that's probably going to be my go-to. Jeremy, listen, I appreciate the time. Thanks a lot for this. There's a reason people on the East Coast get their backs up when we call it the best coast, but the West Coast is really the best coast, man. You're sitting out like that, and the table lands and goes more in your view. Whoa. Hopefully we can check in again. So Monday night you'll be in. Game 4 would be on Monday, wouldn't it?
Monday night, I believe so, yeah. And so Game 4, so I'll be there on Tuesday. I'm lying to you. It'll be Wednesday night, I believe, Game 4 would be. Monday is Game 3, I believe.
Oh, right, yeah, that's right. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Kept thinking that was second.
Yeah, you can touch base with me. I'll be there, and, my buddy's the executive chef, and we always talk food there, and it's been amazing just going there and cooking for the boys and stuff, and, it's a magical place. So,
yeah, we had T. Ryan on earlier the week, and I told him, we try to check in, but he's too busy. So you're our go-to now. Terry's on we're going to put him on the back burner. And he's in Vancouver, right? Yeah. He's in Vancouver, so it's 4.5 hour difference. So, he's not getting up that hour. But listen, thanks a lot, Jeremy. Listen, let's check in next week after the game, have your assessment of Game 4. And hopefully we'll be talking about a sweep, hey?
Well, I'm feeling that vibe. I don't want to get ahead of my count my chickens, but I don't know. I'm loving the confidence. I'm just loving how calm everybody is. And again, game at a time. Let's go Habs.
This is the best of VOCM Open Line.
Let's go right to line number 3. And Sherry Tucker with the Employer Engagement Specialist for the Autism at Work program at Avalon Employment, Inc. I hope I got all that right. Sherry, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having us, and you got that exactly right, Brian. Great job.
Whoa. I have a lot of information here.
A mouthful.
Yeah, but a worthy mouthful, I will say that. So you're at the East Coast Music Awards, spreading awareness about neurodiversity. I've been tongue-tied all week. I'm really sorry, Sherry. Neurodiversity. But how generally, and the note I got from Megan was how generally awesome our autistic community is, and can't say enough. Full disclosure, my daughter is involved with Shalloway Youth Choir, and they are champions, if nothing, of neurodiversity through their LAUDA, all-inclusive neurodiverse choir, that performs as well through Shalloway. So I just want to throw that out there. It's a great part of the Shalloway. But you're up there, speaking of music, at the East Coast Music Awards in Sydney, Nova Scotia. How is it going?
It has been amazing. We have had an incredible opportunity here, and we're supporting the East Coast Music Awards conference and festival in a number of different capacities. Really, how we got in through the door was through the connections that we had made last year when the East Coast Music Awards, of course, were at home. But we made some great connections through the wellness program that they offer, and a shout out to them. They offer really, really great wellness supports. So we jumped on board to help provide some guidance and support to make sure that there were spaces that were neuro-friendly for folks to be able to decompress and to chill, to have quiet conversations, to have conversations that are huge but feel okay because there's items there to ground you, sensory items. Mm-hmm. We were on the red carpet last night giving out sunglasses, fans, earbuds, so that folks weren't having that sensory overwhelm experience without having some sort of tool to support them. And today is what I'm most excited about, honestly. Today we're hitting the stage ourselves at the East Coast Music Awards. What a big thing to get to say. But I'm getting to moderate a panel today with a number of different experts on talking about neurodivergence in the music industry and the challenges that come with networking, but how critical networking is. So we're coming at that with a number of different angles. We're going to be chatting about tips for actual neurodivergent folks. We're pitching to employers, venues, about how they might tweak things and do things a little bit different. And we even have a clinical psychologist sitting with us on our panel today, Erin Williams, who's going to talk about that mental health piece and the real taxing cost that comes with networking often. So we're going to do some cool things. And the whole reason we're here doing this is to make sure that folks are recognizing the incredible talents that are out there for neurodivergent folks, but also remembering that we may not be seeing them in the way that we need to. We might be missing that talent, so we want to shout it out loud, and we're doing that right from the stage here at the East Coast Music Awards, which is so freaking cool, Brian.
I can only imagine, because music is an outlet, that just spans all genres, all persons, disabilities, non-disabilities. Look, it's music. And we know that those sorts of stimuli can be incredibly significant and important for anyone with any kind of neurodiversity or any general, autistic or any of the other, ground areas that we're looking at, and especially for East Coast Music Awards. It's great to have that kind of presence there. I assume it can only be being accepted with open arms.
Absolutely. And we also came in chatting and representing our mentorship program. So we have a fantastic program called Mentorability. Mm-hmm. It is grounded in Newfoundland, but it is offered right across the country. And Mentorability offers mentorship matches and opportunities for folks cross-disability, cross-industry. So we're also taking that opportunity to make those connections and recognize that we have so many folks that would love to be attached to the music industry in so many different ways, whether they're a musician or they want to do sound and lighting or they just really love the scene. So they're willing to, slug the amps and the guitars and be a roadie. I've done that. I've set up industrial fencing myself. I'm a bit of a groupie at my heart. That's how I've come into here. But those mentorship opportunities are critical as well. So it's been such a fantastic opportunity for Avalon Employment to be here to support the autism community, promote what it is that we're doing, but also to be able to make those mentorship connections.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. The presence there, and again, the music outlet, this just seems to be a no-brainer in many ways, just that for the opportunities that are there, even for acceptance, it's a different the music business is very different. It's very open, it's very accepting, it's very, broad-ranging, and as I said, even with the Shalloway Youth Choir, there's always room for this, and I can only imagine that it's just such a boon, to this community. So hats off. I think it's great. Is this a first, I guess, to have a presence at the awards?
Oh, absolutely. This is a first. And honestly, this was an idea that was cooked up by a neurodivergent person. So again, you hire somebody with that fancy, funny brain, and she comes in and says, well, what if we had a spin wheel on the red carpet at the East Coast Music Awards? And they just said, yeah, actually, that sounds brilliant. And you know what? It has been brilliant. It sounded like a kooky idea from a neuro-sparkly girl, but hey, I'm going to hit that stage, and it all worked out. But different brains, different thinking, different ways of doing things, and here we are, Brian.
Exactly, and it's not a lesser thing. It's, you said, kooky brain idea. I mean, that's the advantage, right? The outside the box, the different thinking, and completely acceptable and completely makes sense and great. And it should come, right, from the people living the experience. Really should.
Yeah. Absolutely, and we are grounded, especially with Autism at Work, we are grounded in lived experience. Everyone that's sitting on our panel today is an expert, but they are an expert with lived experience, and we believe that is critical. We are not standing up and telling somebody to do things different, to be different. We are saying, hey, we are different. We do things differently. Let's chat about how we might all do things differently and be able to really thrive.
Yeah, all the differences need to come together to make commonnesses, if that commonnesses, if that makes any sense at all. But you know what I'm trying to say. We need that.
I think is what we're getting at.
Thank you very much, my Friday brain. There you go. Unique brains not working.
Friday? I don't even know what day it is anymore, Brian. It's been so exciting, but that means my week is almost over. I better get to having fun.
Yeah, well, you're up there at the East Coast, so you don't have to worry about what day it is. It's, music is just cyclical. It just happens every day. Really appreciate it, Sherry. I do appreciate it. And look, check back in with us when it's all said and done. Give us a shout back. We need, we're into the good news business here. We're trying to get more and more into the good news business. We're going to have more and more features of, the goodness that's going on in society, the goodness that organizations like yourself, the efforts you're making. And it's going to be a real push here at Open Line. We're going to have specials. We're going to make sure we make room for good news stories. And we want to hear from everyone.
I am a believer in sharing that good news, so we'll make sure to keep you in touch with all of the really cool things that we're doing, because we've got a whole year planned of awesome things. So we'll make sure to stay in the loop for a little bit of good news, everyone.
Yep, we're right up that alley, and we want to. And this isn't just talk. This is really actually something. Since I took over the show, we've been discussing behind the scenes, and we're going to make room for it. So we encourage anyone who thinks that that's just Open Line, it's all politics and everything. No, there's room for everything, just like there's room for all peoples, and I don't need to tell you that.
Love that. What a way to end this conversation. I really appreciate this time today, Brian.
So do I, Sherry. Thank you. And check in with us after you get back and this dust is cleared, and let us know how it all went and was perceived and accepted.
Absolutely. I'll touch base once I've gotten home and had a nap.
This is the best of VOCM Open Line.
Right to line number one. And Gene Hewson, as mentioned, interim president of Folk Arts Society. You're on the air.
Hi there, Brian. How are you?
I am surviving the survival of the fittest these days, Gene. But no, it's all good. It's Friday. The sun is shining. We're talking music. We're talking folk arts. I'm in good mood.
I'm glad to hear that. Me too.
Yeah.
Friday is one of my favorite days.
It is, and I'm always a little wary because obviously work patterns have changed and not everybody has a Monday to Friday gig. A lot of people have 3 or 4 gigs that can bleed into the weekend. So I'm always intimately aware that, not everybody is celebrating a Friday the way everybody used to. But there it is.
Indeed.
Yeah, so big day coming up, big night coming up at the St. John's Convention Centre, June 7th. We're not letting the festival go without a fight, are we?
No, that's it. And I think that, our contribution to your good news segment here is how much support we've gotten from the community since we've announced this fundraiser. And, people have been buying tickets, and also people have been making donations. When we go out onto the street, people are talking to us saying how important the folk festival is to them and how they really want to see it carry on. And one of the things I did want to specifically do today is to thank the people who've sent in donations. Mm-hmm. And a number of them have sent in little stories about why they're donating. And I was wondering, would it be okay to share a few of them today?
No. Yes, of course. Just kidding. No way, we don't have time. No, this is why you're here, Gene. We really want to. Dave just gave me some side eye. Holy moly. I was just kidding. Obviously, yes.
It's hard to get sarcasm over on the radio.
Well, this is such a no-brainer, but no, you may go right ahead. I don't want to take up any more. Go for it.
Well, I want to start with someone who is from here who donated and made a lovely donation, and I reached out because I knew them personally, and I thanked them. And they said, well, I thought, how much can I afford to give the Folk Art Society, and how much has the Folk Festival meant to my kids? And I thought that, wow, that was so poignant and such a touching thing to hear from people. And another person sent in this message, and I'm going to read this because their words are much more expressive and eloquent than anything I could ever say about this story. So this person wrote in and said, I know your names even though you don't know mine. Let me explain. I'm one of those American children who lived in your midst in the 1950s when my father was stationed at Pepperell Air Force Base. I didn't return until 1990, but I started coming every summer, timing my visit for the festival in Bannerman Park, starting in 1993. I've been nearly every year and sadly will miss the summer for health reasons, but the heart knows where it belongs. And that is from someone who doesn't live here.
Jeez.
And I know.
Why don't you put some goosebumps on me?
Playing over the internet this past week, reading some of these messages. And another really interesting thing that I've come to realize is that there's a national folk festival community and an international one, and they're all supportive of our folk festival here. So,
do you think that's? I'm just wondering, do you think that's a little bit because so many folk festivals have had to shut down, have had to go the way of the dodo because they just could not, the same issues that we were facing here have been faced at folk festivals across the country. Maybe they're looking at us as saying, let's save this one.
Absolutely. Having said that, there are other folk festivals out there that are still kicking it.
Yep.
And I don't know how they're surviving because things are more expensive, but they're adapting, they're continuing on. And a donation came in from this woman who's an author. She writes children's books. She lives in Ontario. And I met her at a folk festival, which is very similar to ours. It's in Goderich, Ontario, a tiny little town, really beautiful. And their folk festival is around the same size as ours. I'd say it's a similar audience and kind of a similar performer base that they have. And it's called the Goderich Celtic Festival. If anybody is up in Goderich or in Ontario in August, it's a great folk festival to go to. And she sent in a donation and said, I've never been to your festival, but I've benefited from hearing and knowing and learning about Newfoundland and Labrador's amazing folk arts from the people who've come to Goderich, like yourself and Christina Smith and others. So you can see how we're all connected with that larger community, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's grassroots. It's never going away. The community will always be there. We just, every now and then, we got to call everybody together for a cause. And this is massive, major, important cause to keep this. Unfortunately, Gene, until there's a threat of losing it, there's no real rally around it. We've been let it slip from our fingers a little bit and then realize that we just couldn't keep up with the other, big ticket stuff that's going on. And a lot of people would love to see it go back to the roots, right, of the original back in the 70s and the early 80s when I was first started going legally, I said. But, so it's just so important to the cultural fabric. We know that. And look, when you look at the lineup, Sherman Downey, Reuben Rake, Matthew Byrne, oh my God, it's a legendary lineup. Jim Payne, Fergus O'Byrne, Anita Best, Sandy Morris, Pamela Morgan, the whole Figgy Duff, legendary Figgy Duff. It's just going to be an incredible nostalgia, an incredible time with the culture, just back to our roots of culture at the Convention Centre on the 7th. It's going to be a time.
And I think speaking of legends, I hear we have a legendary host.
Oh, who's that?
That would be yourself.
What? Okay, I'm trying to feign surprise here, but yes, I will be emceeing the event, and I was tapped on the shoulder to do this, and I can't wait to be in the midst.
Yeah, we're delighted to have you, Brian. I think that's absolutely fantastic.
I think so too. I'm just be a part of it, and just to be in the midst of these legends, and being able to put some efforts toward anything that I can do for the resurgence and to get it back to the roots and really what it was meant to be back when it was what it was. So I am absolutely flattered that I was asked, and I can't wait, and it's going to be a great time.
I think it is too, and I know that I'm getting the question from every quarter. Every person I run into on the street says, are we having a folk festival this year? And I think that we are going to be in the park on a certain day. We're not sure yet when. But there will be something happening in the park with permission of the city. And, of course, I don't want to alienate the city or anything out there, but we're going to be there. And you're absolutely right. We don't need necessarily all of the other trappings of what costs, the thing that costs so much. That kind of bogs down the folk festival. That's not what our culture is. The culture is the people. It's the artists who show up. It's the audience members who show up to participate. And it's something that we can just do on a much simpler level. And it is going to have to be that, I'd say, certainly for this year, and I'd say for another year or two in the future as we build things back up, but in a way that I agree with you that we have to look at what is sustainable now going forward and what matters. What are we trying to do here? We need to re-examine that question and see what it is about us that we need to put forward in the future and what we need to preserve here.
I couldn't agree more. Times have changed on so many different fronts, and this needs a reset just like other things. Back to the roots. Let's build it back up. Let's get it back to what it was, and see if we can form, a resurgence of it in the way that it was meant to be back in the day. And look, commercialization, I get it. You want to try to raise money to make it bigger and better, but I think there's just too much focus on the bigger and better. This was always a different event than other big concerts going on. It was our homegrown event, more or less. So I get it, and I'm so in trouble past the break for news. Jean, thanks for the chat, and by all means, this is going to be a great time. And thanks for contributing to the good news that we're trying to promote here on the show and across all platforms. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Brian.
This is the best of VOCM Open Line with Brian Callahan.
Right to line number 3. And Donna, you're on the air.
Hey, Brian. How are you today?
Pretty good, thank you. Nice driving conditions out there.
Beautiful.
Are people behaving themselves?
Beautiful. Pardon me?
Are people behaving themselves?
For the most part. I think because of Portugal Cove and Majors Path, all that construction, people are, being pretty reasonable.
Yeah, and you are a school bus driver, just to remind people who are just tuning in and may not have heard our chats before, just for total transparency, just throw that word out there again.
Yeah, I am definitely a school bus driver. I am definitely driving your kids to school on a daily basis, just letting you know. So for the most part, Portugal Cove and Majors Path, and the Airport Heights, that's one of my areas. And I found that construction, even though, it can be a pain when you're moving, it's slowing people down, which is a good thing. I noticed, and I don't know if this is a new trend or not, but on Allendale Road, I spotted a car that it missed the left-hand turn. So what it did was it went through the light, went around the vehicle on the opposite side of the road, went behind them, and went on an off-ramp. And I'm like, this is not healthy, People are doing it.
Missed the turnoff or didn't want to wait for the light and decided to do a U-turn and come back the other way? Or I'm trying to picture it in my mind's eye, but you mean Allendale at the at Ridge Road, that area, or down further by the Arts and Culture?
No, at Ridge Road.
Yeah.
They're coming, they're heading east. So you get a left-hand turn where you can actually go on to the Outer Ring Road.
Yes. Okay, gotcha.
Okay. So what they did was they missed the left-hand turn. So they came straight through the light, went behind the people that were in the right lane, and turned and made a right to go on the Outer Ring Road. I don't understand why people are doing that, but they did the same thing on Majors Path yesterday morning. It's like they wanted to get on the Trans-Canada Highway. For some reason, the people that are on Majors Path that were going on Torbay Road, they had the right of way because they had the green light. So what the person on Torbay Road did was make a right, went behind the vehicles, and went on Torbay Road again and took the Outer Ring Road. And you kind of look at it.
Yeah.
And you're thinking in your head, what about if somebody had turned out of an off street and came right for you? Or you got somebody with their head down texting while they're driving, because we never see any of that happening. But, you see somebody that's not paying attention and they just hit you, when you're making an illegal turn to go somewhere. And, if these are things that I see as a bus driver, and just to remind people again that when I'm coming up and you cut in front of me, or you're making a left-hand turn right in front of me without any notice, it takes me almost 10 seconds to come to a complete stop with a busload of kids. You got to think of weight. You got to think of how many kids I got on that bus. That's additional weight. And that's a lot of work on a brake system on a bus. I can't lock it up. It's not going to happen. So, just be cautious, be conscious, and be considerate. the 3 C's.
It's a lot to ask, because we all know the last thing people are thinking about that do these quick moves to get somewhere quicker. The last thing they're thinking about are other vehicles and other cars. It's about it's offensive driving instead of defensive driving, and you're on a one path to get to where you got to go. What's safe for me to do? Without thinking about all the implications of what it has for other vehicles, such as the ones that might be coming right at you. Look, it's an afterthought. There's no question. It's an every man and woman for themselves, every driver for themselves out there these days. So much more. I see so much more offensive instead of defensive driving, which the defensive thing just ensures you're always watching out for others, as opposed to and what you're doing, and you're 100% concentrating on driving your vehicle instead of the smallest little things that you could regret for a lifetime if you did not think about it in the moment and consider what you're doing when you come to an intersection. And as you said, there's a massive school bus with kids on it and so much else going on in other vehicles on other roads that you could impact, but it's an afterthought. It's a dangerous time out there on the roads, to say the least. And boy, I tell you, I try to avoid the outer ring as like the plague. I try to stay in town as few intersections as I can possibly avoid. I used to enjoy driving. I don't anymore. It's sad.
Yeah, and here's another thing too that I noticed lately, like when you take these little right lanes to go onto like a 4-lane road, most drivers do know how to navigate that. And, I'm one of them. But I've noticed that some people will actually stop to let a bus out. Now, I know that's really courteous, and thank you very much, but, you got people behind you waiting still to go. And for the most part, 99.9% of the drivers can actually navigate that turn with a full bus. So don't hinder anybody else. Keep your eye out for us, for sure, but you don't have to stop. We're good. We know how to do this, and being courteous, absolutely, thank you, but you really don't have to do it. We slow down. We're very conscious of where we have to go and what we have on board. We have very valuable things on board. Those are your kids, and they're very valuable to us. We just want to get them where they're going safely.
And Donnie, you make a great point there. It's something that I mean to bring up. I keep forgetting. The courteousness. It's lovely that people want to stop and let someone cross the road or let someone go in all kinds of. But there is a natural legal flow to traffic. And people will expect you to probably be stopping at a crosswalk as you slow down, as you come to one. There's always an expectation there. But when you do something that's counterintuitive to the rules of the road, to the natural flow, like stopping, locking up on a straightaway where there's no crosswalk or anything to let someone cross, it's a lovely gesture, but you got to understand that no one else is thinking that's going to happen because there's no reason for it to happen. Like the natural flow of the road is there. There's no crosswalk, there's no intersection, there's no light. And if you just stop out of the blue to let someone go, whether it's to cross a road or to give a car a break, if it's not in a normal section where you are supposed to be slowing down and it interrupts the normal thinking of a driver, all the other drivers, and it's not a normal place where someone would be stopping for no reason, then that is just as dangerous as breaking laws, and it is kind of breaking law because you shouldn't be, pulling up solid in the middle of a natural flow for no reason,
Well, right next, here's an example, left-hand turn to go on Portugal Cove from Higgins Line. There's a Tim Hortons right on the corner. There's a person in the outside lane that will stop their vehicle to allow a flow of traffic to come through, but they're not thinking about the driver that's on the inside lane that has the right-of-way. And
that's a big one.
They're not supposed to stop. Yes, be courteous somewhere else, but not in a busy intersection. You're not benefiting anybody doing this. They're off-road for a reason. Tim Hortons is in a parking lot for a reason,
Yeah, exactly. And, I grew up next to McDonald's there on Topsail Road, where that big intersection right there. And I can't tell you how many times we used to see the 4-lane, it's a 4-lane road. People stop in the outside lane to let people cross over the lanes to go into the McDonald's parking lot. Love McDonald's, by the way. This is nothing against McDonald's. Anyway, but you let them, you do that at your risk because you're in the outside lane. You're trying to be courteous and let someone in. Meanwhile, the guy coming in the inside lane, they're not expecting it. They're not seeing it. And whammo. You've got one of the most high risk and high collision intersections in the province, easily, bar none. Because of that, people want to be kind and generous. That's fine, but you got to understand the rules of the road. And if you do that, no one else is expecting it, and it's an accident not waiting to happen. It's gonna happen.
It's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. Yep. And here's something else too. I know you're getting ready to go on probably another news break. Jeremy was on earlier. Yeah. The Lobster King, or King Lobster. Yeah. I'm heading to Growthmore in July, so I expect to get a lobster roll. Not free, but I expect you to be there. So when I come up and I want a lobster roll, it's going to be there because I started craving as soon as y'all started talking about it. And I was like, oh, yeah, I got to go out. Well, I'm going to be out there anyway. Yep. I'm taking my dogs with me, good times. Nice. But I will definitely stop by and get one. So Jeremy, just keep your eye out for me. I'll be there.
Not in the school bus.
Not in the school bus, no. I don't think my bus company would be very happy. I was like, yeah, I'll be gone for a few days, taking the bus.
Let's see the gas bill on that one.
Yeah, I don't think they'd be really happy. Yeah. No.
But at least Jeremy would see you coming. At least he'd know you were coming. So, yeah. Donna, thanks for the call. Always appreciate your viewpoint from behind the steering wheel of a bus. So keep them coming. Thanks again for contributing.
Thanks, and I hope you all have a good, safe day and a great weekend.
This is the best of VOCM Open Line.
Right to line number 5, and Bill, you're on the air.
Good morning, Brian. How are you doing?
Good morning. Well, thank you very much. How about yourself?
Oh, not too bad. Yeah. We're calling today to let everybody know that we have a reunion for the Steamo Monarchs and Jets. The Steamo Monarchs entered the NAHA in 1975, so 76 season. So this will be our 50th year since we joined NAHA. So myself and my buddy Hayward Young decided we should get the guys together and reminisce a bit. So that's what we're doing, the end of July 31st.
Oh, sounds great. Let's see, you're going to be a 2-night thing, hey? Is this at the Knights Columbus in Stephenville?
Yeah, Friday night it'll be a dinner and dance, and we'll have a few things on the go there. And that's at the Knights of Columbus on Friday night at 7 p.m., and then on Saturday, we'll have a meet and greet at Clancy's, which just everybody can just walk in and just enjoy themselves.
Yeah, that's going to be a time for sure. I mean, these reunions, especially the old NAHA days, like just to say in that acronym brings me right back because we haven't said it in forever. The NAHA, wow, throwback. And Clancy's is a great spot. I spent quite a bit of time there after shows when we were doing the Stephenville Theatre Festival back in the year 2000. There you go. Dating myself. Yeah. And Claude Keynes took care of us really well out there, I'll tell you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so we got guys coming back from Alberta, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and a lot of the local guys here, and from Ontario as well. So it's going to be a good mix of teams because we went from 1975, which was the initial year of the Monarchs, to 1988, which was basically the final year of the Jets sort of thing. So that's what we did.
Yeah, and there's only a limited you got 200 tickets. That's not a lot. I'm sure you're going to get quite the uptake. And you look at the guys like, I'm just looking at the list here, Jeff Lieberman, Bruce Campbell, Sheldon Curry, Paul McGuinness, Cal Dunville, Donnie House, Jack McKeegan, Gordy Gallant. Oh, yikes, that's going to be a time. I think you're going to need more than 200. You're going to have to find space to pack them in.
We'll open up the dome, whatever we're going to do.
Yeah, you just took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah, that's why I'm calling, because there are tickets available at 2 local retail stores, Debbie's Video and Arlem's. And if people want to get them there, you can get them there, or you can call myself or Hayward. and hopefully we'll get a good crowd, and there should be a few laughs for sure.
When did the Monarchs change from the Jets, or change to the Jets?
It was only a couple of years after, because of the fact that there was a Monarch hockey team in Cornbrook at the time, and there was some confusion, so they decided to change the name to the Jets.
Yeah,
that was probably 79, 80, something like that.
Yeah, I was still a pup, but I remember being a little bit confused as to what, because Stephenville Jets was, and the Cornbrook Mariners and Grand Falls Cataracts went back.
Mariners.
Oh yeah, back in the day. I mean, those were the stalwarts, the teams, but I wasn't always close enough to the ground to understand the difference between the Monarchs and the Jets. So I appreciate that. So one more time, Bill, let's go. July 31st, correct?
Yeah, July 31st, 7 p.m. at Knights of Columbus. And Saturday night, August 1st, we'll have a meet and greet at Clancy's. So everybody's more than welcome to come and chat with the boys. And no, we won't be skating because we have aged.
You have aged. Man, oh man, haven't we all? All right. Look, Bill, good luck with it. I know the June 1st cutoff, too, isn't it? Ticket payment is due by June 1st.
Yeah, we're trying to, because we have to put in for the number of dinners that we need, and we had to pay for the hall and the music, the whole bit. So the tickets are $50 each. And so that's what we had to do, so just to get the numbers there. Yep.
Okay, so anyone wants a little information and they don't have anything in their hand right now, they're driving and they're going, what's the best way to contact you just to inquire?
You can go to my Facebook page, which is Bay St. George Sports Recognition, or you can call me at my number, and or visit Debbie's video or Arlem, so they'll have tickets.
Perfect. All right, Bill, thanks a lot. Good luck with it. You're still a little bit out, a few days out, but, a few days, couple of months almost, but so you got lots of time to prepare for it. That's going to be a time, if I happen to find myself on the West Coast, I may crash it.
Yeah. More than welcome. Come on in.
Really appreciate it.
I got the inside pull, so we might be able to get you in.
There you go. I'll give you a heads up ahead of time.
Right on. Thanks a lot, Brian.
This is the best of VOCM Open Line with Brian Callahan.
Let's go to line number 4, and Lindsay, you're on the air.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, I'd like to talk about the MOU.
Yes, sir. Fire away.
Yeah, okay. There wasn't much came out of that. I didn't see anything at all came out of that review that Jerome Kennedy and the other two guys made. I didn't see anything. Like, nothing concrete came out of it, We're still left in the dark, so we're not going anywhere yet. I don't know if that's the way you've seen it or not, but there wasn't much came out of it anyway. And the Premier Tony Wakeham, said that he was going to get a deal with Quebec. Well, nobody knows when that's going to be because he didn't say when. And, it could be next year this time because right now the Premier of Quebec, she's beginning to get busy for her election this fall. She wants to win. She's going to go some sleepless nights without it, because the way I hear it now, like the Separatist Party might win the next election. And if that happens, we may never get a deal.
Yeah, no.
So, to me, we're just left in the dark. It's going to be a long time before we get anything out of it,
Yeah, Lindsay, so, there are long-standing issues that continue. This is like history repeating itself, right?
That's what it's like. It's just like 1969 all over again.
Yeah, the difference here, I think, one of the main differences is the fact that prime ministers of past have been loath to get involved with this between Quebec and Newfoundland and Labrador and the Churchill River, mainly because of the atmosphere, the political atmosphere in Quebec. Back in the 60s, of course, there were risks with that. I mean, Lester B. Pearson, the prime minister of the day, he was certainly reluctant to get involved and meddle, if you will, in any of this. And, of course, we had the same old things happening. Smallwood was trying to find a way around it because of the juggernaut in Quebec and the lack of permission or lack of access through Quebec to run the lines to whether it was the Northeast United States or Ontario or wherever. I mean, this has been a problem forever. We've always known that the power, first of all, the power has to be needed. And back before the energy crisis of the 70s, it wasn't as urgent a thing. And, of course, it all blew up after that. But, look, the MOU, when you say a lot did come out of the MOU, the expert panel, which would be very helpful to hear from, did determine, that was their determination, that this particular MOU that was signed by the Liberals in December of 2024 was not in the best interest of Newfoundland and Labrador. And they make some very salient, reasonable, understandable assumptions about it, that, the access to Churchill Falls Power, we'd be restricted in that area. There was control and pricing that, suggestions that the 50-year window was far too far out, that the escalator clause that they wanted to put in we would have lost more money on it. You look back at Brinko that signed the deal because they were, beholden to shareholders, for lack of a better term. These were negotiations between the corporations, but that doesn't absolve the government of the day from, not getting involved. The problem is no one saw flaws that we see today. Hindsight's amazing. The escalator clause wouldn't be seen as a flaw at the time because, again, the price of of electricity at the time just wasn't in that realm. The value of it wasn't being realized. The energy crisis wasn't taking root, and it was only after the fact that they realized that, we may have sold the farm. So look, and it's the same issues. Then Smallwood figured, okay, let's go around, as we did with Muskrat Falls. Let's find an alternate route, the Anglo-Saxon route, they referred to it. And again, that wasn't followed through back in the 60s and 70s. They didn't take that route because it was not feasible. And we can argue now that even the Muskrat Falls route that we did take eventually was not feasible because the price just ballooned and went out of control. We do have that route now, but as we know, in order to develop the Upper Churchill and the rest of the Churchill land, to go with Gull Island, that amount of power, we've got to find a route for it. And right now, if the federal government gets involved, it'll be interesting to see how Quebec and Newfoundland and Labrador work that agreement because, again, it still has to go through Quebec. And, there's a lot on that. I didn't mean to go on, Lindsay, but I'll let you continue.
Yeah, well, the way I see it, like under the Liberal government, I think we would have had a better deal because we could have probably had $1 billion by now to do things for the province. We still haven't got a cent yet to do anything or to work with for the province. Like we're still in the same old. So we're not going anywhere.
Yeah, the allegation, the question, the Tories will say, it was all short-term thinking for that short-term influxion of cash, whether it was the immediate $5 million, the $1 billion a year. But the thinking is we can do much better. And now, and of course, Quebec has said in the past, if Newfoundland and Labrador tweaks the agreement, then they're going to want to tweak the agreement. So it could just be a never-ending. Once again, it feels like we're back to square one again. The wild card, as I said, is Carney. Prime Minister Carney seems to be certainly alluding to, well, not alluding. He said they are in discussions with both provinces. What that is going to look like, and whether this Prime Minister has the, I don't know what you want to call it. Is it guts? I don't know. To try to broker some kind of agreement whereby the national energy corridor can be established through Quebec. I mean, back in the day, the problem with the FLQ crisis, even at the time, it was tense in Quebec at the time, and their lack of acknowledgement of the Labrador border, established in 1927, still is an issue, and will have to be settled. I can guarantee you that's going to be a discussion somewhere along the way when we get down to the nitty-gritty of whatever deal that this the Progressive Conservative Party, Liberals, the Progressive Conservative government in power right now under Tony Wakeham, what they're working with here. It's going to be a fascinating process, a fascinating negotiation. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. I get that. But, a few simple answers to a few simple questions. Will there be a referendum? If not, why?
Yeah, well, like you're saying, back in the past when it was signed first, and Lester Pearson was the Prime Minister and all our premiers, like when Brian Pickford was Premier, that's when they brought on the Constitution at that time. Now, Quebec refused to sign it until they get what they wanted. And Elliott Trudeau, Prime Minister Trudeau at that time, he gave in to Quebec and gave them what they wanted. Now, Brian Pickford wanted a new deal done then with Churchill Falls. Mm-hmm. He wanted that canceled out and get a new one done. But the federal government and Quebec would not cancel it out. Like, eventually Brian Pickford did sign it, but he didn't get anything out of it, no more than the Constitution brought on from England. That's all that was in it. And we've been in that boat ever since. Like, it's been 1969 all the way down through to the present day. So, you know, like we've never gotten anything that we wanted, but seems like to me Quebec gets everything what they want. You know, we get shoved aside and Quebec is pulled forward.
Yeah, and you talk about history repeating itself, you know, like Pearson. You know, if Prime Minister Carney is unable to broker something here, he will again be accused, as Pearson was, of, you know, being a foreign affairs expert, but domestic affairs novice. I think that was the term that was used back in the day, you know.
Yeah, probably. I don't remember, because back in them days, then I don't think when Pearson was Prime Minister, I was old enough to vote. I don't think I was.
Well, so, I know I wasn't. I was 2.
You were 2, right? Well, I wasn't much older. When Pearson was Prime Minister, I suppose I was about 7 or 8 years old, something like that.
There you go. Look, you know, if you know.
I know we didn't have any color TVs or anything like that then, so.
No, we didn't. We had a big box the size of a cube van in the den. You know, the feds have historically, as I said, going back to Pearson, stayed out of it. Non-interventionist, shall we say. But, you know, there's no question that the overtures that Carney's making about national corridors, it'll be interesting how they can break that juggernaut and what concessions Quebec may seek if in the end it's mandated, as it was denied to Newfoundland back in the day, that they have to allow the lines and the power to flow through Quebec. It's going to be fascinating. The same issues, we're facing the same issues, and whether the Liberals let it go, and whether or not that was the best deal we could actually get with all those considerations remains to be seen. And it remains to be seen what the current provincial government under Premier VOCM can broker, whether it's with Quebec, just the two parties, or whether it's the involvement of the federal government. There's a lot of layers to that if the feds get involved, and it remains to be seen how that'll all happen. Lindsay, I got to get off to the break. Do you want to wrap up there?
Yeah, like he's doing something out west, like he signed a deal with Alberta to build pipelines. And he had a meeting with the Premier of Quebec, whatever his name is, not Quebec, but British Columbia.
Premier EB, yep.
Seems like they're going to put the pipelines on through to the west coast of British Columbia, and ship oil overseas.
Yeah, they're still they want
a deal with them, and they seem like to be. Well, I don't know if they're happy enough with it, but they're willing to go along with it. But we're not getting any deal at all over here, you know. I don't see us as going anywhere right now.
This is the best of VOCM Open Line.
Let's go right to Greg on line 2. Greg, you're on the air.
Yes, good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Beautiful day here on the East Coast. How's it looking out on the West Coast? You're in the Burgeo area, are you?
No, I'm in Corner Brook, but I'm from Burgeo.
Oh, there you go.
It's beautiful. Windy and chilly, but it's nice.
Yeah, there you go. Well, we'll take it. Hey, bye.
Yes, sir. Well, anyway, I'm not in a good mood this morning. Not getting, according to the reports we're getting from the Burgeo Road again.
I'm sorry to hear that. Fill me in.
Yeah, it's not. The Burgeo Road is in deplorable condition. It's not, like I'll say, it's not fit and fly over. Barry Pitton, the Minister Pitton, is going to have to forget his politics and try to get some crews or something on this road ASAP, because tourist season is coming, and you know the Burgeo Sandbanks Park is one of the beautifulest parks in the province, and people is going to hear about the road and they're just not going to travel over it.
True enough. How is it? Just to try to paint me a picture, Greg. Like, what are we talking? Is it like a back road with the potholes that'll take the bottom out of your vehicle, or what are we looking at?
Yes, sir. It's deplorable, right from, well, people knows where I'm going to talk about, from the 90-degree turn to the Trans-Canada, which is a 51-kilometer stretch. There's, like you said, there's holes in there that trout could swim in. It's someone in a small car or whatever could bottom out. They could beat the front end off. It's awful. And like I said, the potholes are in clusters, not just one. There's one here and there, but like I said, there's some of them almost stretches the full width of the road. And like I said, you got to slow down to sometimes a complete stop because you don't know how deep they are. And like say, someone in an ambulance or something like that trying to beat in over that road, my geez, they'd be, pardon the pun, they'd be killed before they get there.
Yeah, sometimes, Greg, I often think sometimes there's a conspiracy, and this is just my own weird brain, that they'll leave some potholes in a rough road just to slow down traffic. But
yeah, I suppose, but like say, the speed limit is only 80, so it's not like it's a main bar through, right? Like say, but I'm going to say this, maybe the government needs a good crap knocking or something to wake them up, because like say, the Department of Highways, I'll say, on the steam volume usually takes care of to the 90. So I'll just take this week on. Monday was holiday, nothing done. Tuesday, a few potholes done here and there. Wednesday, nothing done. Thursday, nothing done. Today's Friday. They got their 40-hour work week punch, nothing else getting done. And like I said, when they do go out, they don't probably turn to work till 8 o'clock. Takes them probably 2 hours to get where they're going. First thing they're going to do, open up, pop, and have a sandwich, lunch break. Then after dinner, they work for a couple hours, another break. Then they're packing up their gear and coming home. So they're only getting probably 2-3 hours most a day at it. So like, why don't they put more crew on it so they can get it, at least make it a little bit reasonable to drive over, seeing tourism season is coming. Like I said, Burgeo, that area, Burgeo, Ramu, Grey River, Francois, Douville, Pirate Island, and the road is not fit to come over to go and visit. So I don't know. Mm-hmm. You got to put the politics aside, because safety is better than, like say, politics right now. And like say, the road is getting to a state of is not safe. Someone's going to be killed. Yep,
you're speaking my language there, Greg, about park the politics, no pun intended. Are the crews regularly on the road? Like, do you see them as you're driving through? Are they, on the side fixing as they go? Like, how regularly do you actually visibly see them working on the road?
Well, me, like, I work Monday to Friday, so, like, I don't really see them at all, except because I got a cabin on the Burgeo Road. Okay. And time I get there in the evening, they're gone. But, like, regular, like, the people from Burgeo that travel the road regularly, like, say, like they put it on Facebook, the road, never seen no one today, never seen no one yesterday, the day before. So, and it's being put on Facebook, but, like, say, I know government is listening, and old Mr. Pitton is listening and say, listen, bud, you're going to have to do something with the pothole patching, like say, ASAP, and brush cutting. Well, that's a different issue. We definitely need brush cutting again. Like I said, there were 2 or 3 accidents there last week, or in the last couple of weeks, where caribou jumped on the road and people beat their trucks up because brush not being cut back, and you don't know nothing for a caribou or a moose or whatever's on the road.
Be on top of you before you know it. Absolutely.
And like, it's not too, like I said, the brush cutting is dead, but now there's no leaves on the alders and stuff, so you can almost see through it. But like I said, later on in July, when everything is full bloom, you don't see nothing till bang is right on the road, and the alders is on the road. So, like, you can't say, oh, well, it was liberal last year and the year before. That's a roll of beans. Safety first, not politics. You're put in there to serve the people of Newfoundland, Labrador, not just for the PC districts or whatever. So, anyway, that's my beef for this morning.
Greg, and a valid beef at that. And you're right. They are listening. The minister, I'm sure, or people in the office and government on the 8th floor and elsewhere in other departments, as I mentioned off the top, they always listen no matter what's going on, just in case. So, look, we know the minister's listening. We had Michael King, the MHA, Liberal MHA for Burgeo Lapoil on the show yesterday. I'm sure he's in tune with this. So, keep up the good fight and let us know if you hear anything. We welcome the minister for any kind of update on what work is planned for that road this year, as you said, which can make or break the tourism season down there. So, appreciate the call, Greg. Keep it on the front burner. Thanks. I got to get off to the break, but thank you for the phone call.
Thank you, my friend, for taking my call. Have a good one.
This is the best of VOCM Open Line with Brian Callahan.
Let's go right to line number 2. And caller, you're on the air. Morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good. I got not very much to say, but regards you're talking about this referendum.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to have one because they got people in place to look at it that's paid to do it, and if they happen to come back and say it's a good deal, I think we should accept it and go on. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, the announcement of the referendum in the first place seemed like on such a tangly, complicated agreement, the question was always, how will it be worded? How will it be presented? How will people understand all the implications of it? The wording of it was always the curious part for me. But as we've gone along, we've seen more and more the government move away from it. And right off the top of the show, I said it, I predict there will not be a referendum. And that's only going on the basis of, only what the Premier said. He won't answer the question. Sorry.
Yeah. And in regards to the House of Assembly, how they're getting on and not behaving themselves, as far as I'm concerned, I think they should send them to preschool. Because that's what we do with children, to learn how to get along with other people. And that's what they need to do.
Yeah, and you know what? I would pay just to see them squeeze into those little preschool chairs and desks. I would pay money to see that.
That's what they need to do with them.
Caller, appreciate it. Thanks so much. Don't be a stranger. Every call matters, and that seems to be a very popular opinion. I will say that. Thanks again.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
This is the best of VOCM Open Line.
Line number 1, Colin, you're on the air.
Good morning, sir. How are you on this Friday morning?
Great, sir. How are you? How's the fam?
Everybody's great. How about your family?
Oh, very well as well. Colin, thanks for asking.
Good.
Yeah. So what do you think? No, IRS will never be able to audit the Trump or his family again. What do you think of that?
Excellent. So much for the rule of law. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, if you're one of these punks who stormed the Capitol on January 6th, and you were arrested and prosecuted, and you either went to trial and were found guilty, or you pleaded guilty, as the vast majority of these people did, President Trump now is going to create a $1.8 billion punk fund for you. That's the only thing to call it. It's a punk fund. It's money going to be doled out to punks. That's the word of the day, by the way, punk.
Okay.
You know?
I'm with you.
I'm trying to keep it, you know.
Non-House of Assembly like?
Yeah, you know, and I don't want VOCM, I don't want the Open Line show to lose its liquor license or anything like that, you know?
Oh, God, don't do that. I'll never be able to survive. Go ahead.
You know?
Shouldn't joke.
And I just find it astounding that people who are convicted of very serious criminal offenses, including but not limited to assaulting police officers, are now going to be eligible potentially to apply for and receive a lot of money because they feel, notwithstanding the fact that they pled guilty, were found guilty and convicted and went to jail and were subsequently pardoned by Trump for their offenses, that they feel aggrieved that the Department of Justice wronged them. So we're entitled to compensation now, or some kind of compensation, or you know, I don't even know the words to use here.
I know. Look,
I'm at a loss.
We're all at a loss. We're running out of words, Colin. I mean, you say astounded by this. I think I'm beyond being astounded by anything that comes out of his mouth, what's done. You just never see it coming anymore.
You know, it's just every day you wake up. What's this thug, this serial fraudster, this 34-count convicted fraudster who's the president of the United States? What's next in his bag of tricks? You know, and just like the whole Republican Party, the House and the Senate, and the top brass in the party, they're just look the other way. There's nothing to see here, folks. Everybody just move along. He's going to do this. He's going to pull $1.8 billion out of taxpayer money. That's money belonging to the people who pay their taxes. You know?
Oh, I do.
And it's just nothing to see here. These people are going to get all kinds of money now, ex-cons, because they felt aggrieved that the Department of Justice did them wrong. When the Department of Justice investigated these crimes and charges were brought against these people, and they pled guilty or were found guilty, they had their day in court, and they were found guilty. And they either appealed and lost the appeal, or they didn't appeal. So they were found guilty. They had their due process rights upheld, and now they're going to get money for that. And these people did some egregious things, you know. Assaulting police officers, that's an attack on the justice system. Some of these police officers died in the days and weeks subsequent to those attacks. You know?
Yeah, and it's like it never happened for some of them. Just the video is there, the tape is there, and they will obfuscate and in many cases deny it even happened. But it's right there.
Yep.
Black and white.
They wanted to hang the sitting vice president of the United States. They put a gallows out on the front lawn there in the Capitol building. They were going to hang Pence. But for the Secret Service detail that was protecting him, if they had to get their hands on him, they would have killed him. You know? I just don't. This is not politics. This is not whether you're a Republican or a Democrat or a centrist or a socialist or whatever. This is about the rule of law, man.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the rule of law, you got nothing. You got chaos. Your thoughts?
Well, chaos is a good word for it. We now have more problems with trade. That's another story altogether. Colin, it's amazing to me that there are still people out there who just have such short memories that this all happened right before our very eyes. Fight. We're going to head down to the Capitol. But yet to completely wash their hands of it and suggest that this never happened. And again, you can ask any member of the cabinet they still will not acknowledge that the election is real and that Trump lost in 2020. Just no acknowledgement. It's nothing to see here. Let's move on and on to the next bit of chaos that they're going to serve on us. Look, it's I just can't even, I don't get into it too much because there's so many tentacles, and it just it gives me a headache, to be perfectly honest with you. As I said before, we were able to pretty much ignore what was going on south of the border in the past. Like these things happen. The political system in the United States, different Canadian system, but now it affects every part of our lives. It really does. Whether it's the price of gas out there today, whether it's the risks in the Middle East, whether it is our economy and trade issues, and right here at home. And we're all being forced to pivot because of these unpredictabilities, and we still have potentially 3 more years left.
Absolutely. And I really don't think he's going to step down peacefully. I don't think he's going to do that, Brian.
I thought that, and the more I look at it now and the way that he's sort of presenting little Marco, who used to be the bane of his existence, the front man, and, in fairness to Marco, whatever is going on there behind the scenes, they've been able to portray a stronger reputation out of Marco Rubio right now as the Secretary of State. I mean, he's doing the globetrotting and that sort of thing. He's been handling the Cuban file, of course, with his Latin background, and the Venezuelan thing. But it seems that he's been put out there. I mean, they gave Marco a news conference the other day that went on for 2.5 hours, Trump-like, where he waxed poetic as if he was the president. And he doesn't get up there and do that without the president's sanction. So if not Trump, and if they've acknowledged that, 84 or 83 years old may not be the best idea for the entire country, if someone's been able to, convince Trump of that, he may be too old to start looking at rejigging the election rules and finding a third term. If failing that, the fallback seems to be Marco. He seems to be the pick to carry on his bidding.
Trump still has about 35 to 37% support in nationwide polling, and these are highly reputable polling firms. He still has about 35 to 37% solid support, and that's not because of whatever happens. He invades Iran. He might go into Havana now and take Castro out of there and put him on a transport plane back to Miami or whatever. He still, no matter what he does, he still has this 35% support, and that's frightening.
It is, but I think it was worth knowing, or it was worth probably saying in our quiet moments that not surprised. There is obviously that support there. There are people with similar mind of thinking, and it's different than mine. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to, it's easy to say it's wrong, because when you add up everything he has said and done over the years, and where it has been proven factually that he has stretched the truth, shall we say, and the other day in passing to say, I always tell the truth. That one was the kicker. Now we know we're playing with a different reality altogether. Colin, only because I'm a little past the break, I'll give you a minute there to wrap up.
It's just he can't get out of office fast enough, Brian.
Yeah. It's just upsetting everything in the world. There's no question. It's been given enough. Yep.
It has a knock-on effect on our country now, too. Everything that's going on with trade and stuff. You know, tens of thousands of people in our country losing their jobs in Ontario and out west. And, you know, these are people who have mortgages and rents to pay and kids to put through school and put food on the table like you and me and everybody else. And what he's doing is just taking a hammer to our economy, you know.
Yeah, it's tough stuff, Colin. Listen, I appreciate the phone call.
Cheers. Have a good weekend.
This is the best of VOCM Open Line.
Let's go to line number 3. And Leo, you're on the air.
I find it hard to believe, it's incredible that we're paying these idiots money to represent us the way they're getting on. I don't know. I just don't know. It's unreal. I'm 91 years old. And I got grade 3, and I always regretted the fact that I wasn't educated. But when I look at these fellows, they're all highly educated, and the way they're getting on, I'm some gee whiz glad that I'm not educated.
Yeah, I wouldn't laugh, but I'd cry. Look, it's a pop. Yeah. You're speaking the language of so many people that I have. Again, I tell you, we've gotten so many emails this morning, people who didn't have time to call. Here's one for you, Leo, real quick. This is an email I just got. I am absolutely appalled at what I am hearing about government, the childish antics, the attempted bullying, the normalizing of it all. And this emailer suggests Paul Lane should be replaced as Speaker because he doesn't seem to be able to control either side, and that's fair comment because it continues to happen, and he can threaten to withdraw speaking privileges all he wants. Something more serious. There should be more serious consequences, maybe. I don't know. Or they should just wise up.
Oh, Pauline, Pauline can't grab him by the back of the neck and kick him in the arse. That's what they deserve, you know. If they were into a club and acted like that, they get their face beat off.
Yeah. And as I've said before, if you were in school, you would be in detention by then. It just wouldn't be tolerated. Just the concentration of other students and the upset that it causes.
I don't know why this. I'm 91 years old, and when I was 13 years old, I was shoveling sawdust in a sawmill. When I was 14, I was out fishing lobster for 19 cents a pound. Yeah. And that was the year that Joey Smallwood brought us into Canada. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you one thing, that I've seen it right on through. It haven't changed. It haven't changed a bit. There was a time in the House of Assembly or Fools or whatever it is that somebody got up and whacked another fellow in the mouth. I believe that was Smallwood done that. Mm. Not Joey, but his son. I think it was involved in that. And it haven't changed. It's unreal. It's unbelievable that educated men can act so damn foolish and go on the way that they did.
Men and women, of course.
And women, right. Yes.
Leo,
but anyway,
yeah, look, I can only imagine how frustrating it is. You got 91 years under your belt. You've seen a lot of governments come and go.
You better believe it.
And we're talking about it. You're an expert, if you ask me. I've qualified you as an expert on how.
I've seen people. We lived up the track 4 or 5 miles up the track, and when Smallwood went in, I seen women walk 5 miles in the middle of the summer to boat. You weren't going to see that today, I'll tell you that.
Leo, I appreciate the call. I hope you have a great weekend.
Yes, Mike. I will.
Thanks.
I won't be doing too much, anyway. Pushing a walker around.
Well, you shouldn't be too much. Enjoy life at your age, buddy. You've earned it.
Yeah, take it easy.
This is the best of VOCM Open Line.
Let's go right to line number 1. And John Denine, you're on the air.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, John. How are you?
Oh, I'm good as it gets, I guess. At least it's sunny out.
Yes, and sorry, I should never answer a question with a question. I'm fine. And then I should have said, how are you? And yes, the sun does a body and a brain good. Hey, what?
It certainly does, yeah. When you get out in your antique cars and drive around, just enjoy it.
Absolutely.
27th of June, we got a bit of good news there. Paradise Double Ice Complex. We're going to have the annual Nevaeh's Lemonade Stand and Antique and Classic Car Show the same day. It's a carnival-type atmosphere. The kids love it. I mean, we've been doing this now for 14 years. And, I mean, it's in memory of my granddaughter, Nevaeh. She got 8 years, so, you know.
But she lives, John, I tell you, she lives on. In every year you do this and all the time in between. The people that have been touched by Nevaeh's, just her presence, sadly, the short-lived time she had on this earth with us. I mean, heartbreaking, but also so incredible, the community response and how she lives on in all of us and in all these events, you know. It's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we have to raise over $500,000 now since we started this over the years. After helping over 85 families, so I mean, we experience it, so we know what these families are going through. And I mean, you get a sick child, especially with the word cancer, you know, any sickness, I suppose, but cancer especially, you know, you know, like my daughter said, Dad, what are we going to do? I said, listen, you know, we'll get through it, you know, financially, and we had lots of help and everything, you know. And you know, it comes to a point in your life, like my daughter spent 282 days in the hospital in 1 year alone. So, I mean, you know, your life can change in a matter of a few minutes when the doctor gives you any kind of diagnosis, especially a child, you know. And Nevaeh's Lemonade Stand, so that people will know, is a registered charity. It's called Nevaeh's Angels Foundation now. And there's not one person is paid to do this. This is totally volunteers. Actually, we have a lady from the Goulds that lives in BC now for many years that comes here every year to volunteer for us and brings some money from the company. And God forgive me, I can't think of the name of her company right now, that she brings money every year with her, and she wouldn't miss it for the world. You know, we have so many really good volunteers. I mean, it's unreal, you know. Like, I haven't got the list of the bands, so I'll know next week that they're playing. You know, we're having, and also now we're having a 50-50. Usually it's only the day of the lemonade stand. This year, our 50-50 starts on the raffle box, starts tomorrow. So basically, you got a little over a month. So we're hoping, you never know, maybe someone could win up to $100,000. Who knows? It could be only $10,000. I don't know, but I'm more hoping closer to the higher amount, you know.
Yeah, and look, obviously the winning that would be gravy, but I can tell you from someone who's been to a number of these events, you know, the money is fine, but what you get out of attending and feeling Nevaeh's presence at these events through all of the people that have known her all her life, her family, yourself, and all the other people, it's incredible how you just don't feel like she's gone when I've been to these events. It's like she's here somewhere, she's busy, obviously she's the star of the show and everybody wants to see her, and somehow just experience her presence and the strength that she had and how she continues to live on. Like I've never seen anything like it. You know, these are people realize, they talk about heartbreaking, and now it absolutely was to lose her in a physical sense. But I've never seen anything like the staying power of her impact on people, on lives, and for other families that are going through this. There's nothing can be harder to stop you in your tracks than your child is sick and you can't do anything about it. I just can't.
Oh boy! I mean, like I said to my daughter at the time, I said, listen, I get a few credit cards. If I got to, I'll basically go bankrupt just to keep, you know, to keep everything going. I mean, you do. And sell the house, whatever you have to do, you do it when this stuff happens. And I mean, you know, we go to that lemonade stand and I see all these happy faces with kids, and it's like I said, every time I phone in every year about this, if you want to come into the lemonade stand, and I know times are hard, you don't have any money, you can't afford some money to donate. Come over and see one of us. We'll gladly give you a glass of lemonade and a cupcake for free. Not a problem. You know, we don't judge if you can't afford anything. That's not what we're there for. We're there to see all those happy faces in her memory, and obviously raise a few extra dollars, you know. But, you know, it is what it is. But if you don't have any money, come in. We love to see the kids' happy faces there. That's what makes everything going for us to keep this going. You know what I'm saying?
I absolutely know what you're saying. And I think I said daughter. I meant anyone with a sick child. I say daughter because Nevaeh is never far from my mind, and I have a daughter. So, you know, you don't know how life is until your child is sick and everything changes. So and I just think that other families going through this, I've seen them at this event. It buoys them. It gives them strength to see how strong the family is and how she lives on and what's possible, and so it's not all doom and gloom, and there is such an incredibly positive feeling for such a tragic set of circumstances.
I mean, you don't realize until it happens how many sick kids there are when you spend so much time in that hospital. I mean, in the sick children's hospital in Toronto, I talked to my daughter the other day, and so far this year alone, 18 families have been helped. It's amazing, and it's that this kind of stuff. There's so many years that there's no cure for this stuff. It just don't. Mm-hmm. And when all the money is raised through all these different places, and there's still no cure, it just, to me, it don't make sense. It's it's unreal.
Yeah, it's fun. It's interesting. I often think of the talk of AI and all the rest of it, and how ahead of the curve it is, and how exponential the intelligence is. The first thing that goes to my mind every time I hear the AI talk is, well, can we not apply this to cancer as soon as possible? And no matter what happens, come up with something. It just, in my nonsensical scientific, non-medical doctor brain, it just stands to reason. We can do so many other things with AI right now. Can we not find a cure for cancer?
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, and with saying that, I want to thank VOCM for letting me come on every year, and what I probably will do is give you a call the week of the lemonade stand, or how it's going, and with a bit more information, and also the town of Paradise. I mean, the Paradise Double Ice Complex is a beautiful place, and the benefit is with this is, if rain or shine, we're going to go, because we keep the event inside. The only problem is we won't be able to have the car show, but if it's nice enough at all, most guys could come out, and even if it's calling for rain, it's guys that won't take their cars out, but they'll bring their cars in, and if a little bit of rain falls on that day, they're okay with it.
Yeah. Well, when
and you can bring your antique cars, your bikes, whatever. You're more than welcome.
It always just seems like everything else is very small compared to this reason and this cause. Somebody sent me a note here, and they're challenging me just to mention something. I've been at several of these events, and all I will say is that I was there in person as a human, but I was also there at several in a particular mascot costume, and that's all I'm going to say about that. I'll leave that for the speculators.
Well, something, you're more than welcome to get a hold of one of us and show up again, because we appreciate any and all help that we can get. We really, people don't realize how much we appreciate it. It's a lot of work. I don't put a lot of work into it as such, because I'm not on the committee. But I'm more or less on the car show side of it, and I got the lemonade bug. I got to go get that tomorrow out of storage and stuff. So I do my own little thing type of thing. But the committee, I mean, they're all year long having meetings and trying to set this up and get the venue for it. And people might think this is, a lot of people might think 4 hours. Okay, yeah, well, it's not a lot of work, but it's not 4 hours. It's yourself playing in events. It takes forever.
Yeah, the number of people, number of volunteers, all the little booths and all the little things that are going on inside, when it's just so much going on, and it's just a great feeling. As I said, it seems counterintuitive, but when you go, don't expect to be all that. Don't expect to be surrounded by sadness. That's all I will say, because it's such a positive.
Well, it is such a positive thing, and all those kids are so happy. And yourself, there's not really a lot to do in St. John's regarding for kids. Like the dinosaur park now, beautiful spot down or something like that. But I mean, or go swimming. But other than that, there's not much else out there for. And this is why we see people love to bring their kids there, and it's so nice to see them all so happy.
Yeah, look, and she would be the happiest of the bunch, and I'm sure she is.
She's looking down on us.
Exactly.
They say she's looking down on us, and one of the last words I say today is like she says, "Can't wait to see you there." And with that, I'm going to thank you for everything that you do, and we really appreciate it.
John, and we appreciate you taking the time to call and, just making sure this is well on everyone's radar. Not that it has to be. I know it's a special event for a lot of people, so good luck with it again this year. Can't wait to see the bug.
Take care, buddy.
This is the best of VOCM Open Line.
And let's try one more call just before we go for the weekend. Janice, you're on the air.
Good morning from Cornerbrook.
Good morning. I wish I had more than a minute. I didn't want to leave you hanging there. Whatever we talk, I'm more than open to continuing it on Monday. But go ahead. I got about a minute.
No, I didn't really have any, just a comment.
Sure.
A lot of people complain about the hospital situation, about wait times, whatever. I had a reason to go in this morning. I was in and out, prescription checked over 2 hours.
Well,
so if you got an issue and you're putting it off, and your health is getting worse, don't put it off. Give it a try. Go in early. Take your chances. Don't let yourself get sick because, I got to go to the hospital and wait. You might be in and out 2 hours, 4 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours is not bad when you're hearing all the other calls and all the other emails and stories that we're hearing. I know I'm sure you're hearing them too. You must have been pleasantly surprised.
Oh, yes. I walked in and I was in the waiting area for probably 5 or 10 minutes, and then I went in through triage. And when she called me in the register, she was asking me a few questions, and I heard a lady call it my name, and I'm like, she just called my name. Like, this is crazy. But I waited, 2 hours. I was in and out, and I still have some antibiotics and nothing serious or nothing, but it's not as bad all the time as people make it out to be. Yeah, there's people suffering and they're waiting in the hallways on gurneys, whatever. But sometimes you can get in and out quickly, and if you can do it, go in and as early as you can.
Great advice. You definitely hit the sweet spot. It's funny you say when you heard your name called, it must have been like feeling like you won the lottery or something for some people.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, Janice, look, I appreciate it like everybody else who...
Yes, exactly. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, Janice, look, I appreciate it like everybody else who calls in with the positive stories about healthcare. We need them just to balance it out, Yes. I know people are going through tough times, but we need to hear the good stuff too, because it's great for morale for all of our healthcare workers to know that they're not being lumped in with all the negativity. So I appreciate the call.
And there's a lot of it on social media for sure, on Facebook.
You got that right.
So, there is some sun behind the clouds.
Yes, especially today. So thank you, Janice, thanks for the call. I really appreciate it.
Have a good weekend.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Bye. Janice is our last caller for the week. There you go. Thanks, everyone, for a great week. 3 weeks in now for me, and I look forward to your calls next week. We'll be right back on Monday. Until then, drive safely. Arrive alive. VOCM cares.